Hi guys, it's Friday, 8 December 2023 and it's also the 10th anniversary of the Little India riots. There's an article in the Straits Times, I saw it online. You know, I don't buy newspapers. Two doctors being featured gave a very interesting observation on the mass casualty situation on that fateful night. 62 people, 37 police officers, 12 SCDF officers, 5 private security officers from Certis, and 8 members of the public were injured in the riot. One of the doctors, Dr. Phua, who's a senior consultant in the emergency department, said this. He said, seeing uniformed officers protecting us brought into the emergency department for help and treatment hit me and made me realize these officers are also human. Okay, now don't get me wrong, I appreciate and respect police officers, but I'm concerned that there's such a disproportionate number of law enforcers injured in comparison with the rioters. But think about this. If more healthcare workers than members of the public fall ill when there's a bug going around, then we'll be in serious trouble. Now, don't wish for such things to happen, but the fact is, we are too sheltered, so much so that even our protectors are well sheltered from the storms. When I was at a training course during my JC days, our chief instructor is very famous for saying the following quote: "Calm seas never make good sailors." When we are so dependent on all the protection, we lose our ability to fend for ourselves. It's unfortunate that someone had died and many got injured, but I think we emerged from this stronger than before. Enough of history, let's look at the present. Many people around me are happy or even a little cocky about our strong SGD. Now sure, it means you can travel longer and further, but it's not always a good thing. Retail sales dip and our hotel rooms are empty. Across the causeway, we have the bird people going cheap, cheap, cheap. Now, when Mr. Goh Chok Tong first brought this up at National Day rally, he meant this to be a joke, to make the audience laugh. Well, we should realize that it ain't funny, especially when you say it in a Malaysian's face. Now, pride is one thing, but let us be more civil, respectful, and mature. Otherwise, we may end up not just sabotaging Singaporeans visiting JB, but we also sabotage the Johorians as well. Next, I'm going to talk a bit about Mr. Tan Kin Lian and a couple of his recent posts. Now, don't get me wrong, Ian, I'm not all out to mock him. I actually like Mr. Tan for his honesty, and really, he wants to help and his heart is in the right place. He's just a bit inept on social media and often unable to handle criticisms in a measured and mature fashion. Sometimes he can even be so cutely naive. Like I said, that should not come as a surprise. People do complain about unaffordable housing, but let's not get fooled. that these people can also secretly wish that they hold the keys to a $1 million flat. Cold and calculative people may be very rich, but they often feel sad, lonely and forlorn. When Deputy Bank Manager Ms. Teo Shaw Ling was alerted in August that an elderly customer went to the bank to withdraw around $500,000 for her critically ill husband in Europe, Ms. Teo sensed that something was wrong. She approached the customer, who was in her 70s, for more information, and she saw on her messages that there's this foreign number that kept popping out on her phone, and one of them said, "Honey, are you okay?" Now, that reminds me of the time when I was on this taxi and a taxi driver asked me to help him find the mobile number of someone he had been communicating with on the Line app. Now, too bad, unlike WhatsApp, which I don't use, the Line app hides your mobile number. I did see a message saying, "Why I think you know Cammy," from a Thai woman. Now back to our story. Ms. Teo interviewed the woman and realized that she had already sent $300,000 from another bank to pay for the medical bills of her husband. Now this husband of hers is someone she had only communicated with online. The bank froze her account for her own good. It took another few hours before the police could convince the woman that her online husband is really a scammer. I didn't have that much time with our taxi uncle. I've mentioned in another video that Singapore is the country where scammers have the most success. This does not seem to match our cold and calculative nature. Singaporeans are very cautious with their money under normal circumstances. Now, the newspaper article mentioned that the majority of the scam victims at these banks are women in their 60s. Now, don't be surprised that these folks can be extremely grouchy and unapproachable to the people around them. It's just that they are also sad, lonely and forlorn, and they crave for attention or what they perceive as love from an impossibly perfect character that they can only find online. When smitten, all defenses come down. That's why we have things like bewitching tea and black magic. When the victims need to save face, they come up with these excuses. I've written quite a bit about claims of black magic by men who have been duped in Thailand. It would be interesting to explore things from the auntie's point of view next. If you're curious about my book, do check out the link in the description. I've just put this up for sale on Shopee. Enjoy your read and have a great weekend.